Okay, so today I wanted to show you a little application I'm working on for voting on enhancements to the Summit system, as well as how to integrate third-party controls into the system. So I have this new application called Enhancements. It's made of a few pages, but I'm only really interested in showing you one today, the actual enhancements page. So this page consists of one region, and it has no authentication required. So once this application is running, anyone can go to this particular page and use it. So let's take a look at the page. It consists of a report and a few fields in the report. So let's run it, take a look. Okay, so how does it work? Well, I have a number of features that I would like to add to the Summit system. And once you click on some of them, I want the user to then enter the capture information and place a vote, and items get voted up. Well, the flow of the screen is not particularly conducive to doing this. I really want them to read the items first, then enter the capture information and place the vote. So these things should really move down below. I'd like to centralize this. Get rid of the exporting, get rid of the sorting, just clean it up, add a bit of polish, and also show you how to integrate this third-party control. So let's take a look. Edit the page. So there's nothing really at the page level apart from turning authentication off. But in the report itself, the report region, I have some instructions that display on the screen. The capture field, the actual HTML that renders that capture object, and the button, submit button, that does submits the region and does the voting. So how does this work? Well, let's take a look at the instructions one. All that it is a HTML display type of element, and it displays this text. The next one is the capture element. Again, it's another display field, but there is no source for it yet. Next one is the submit button. It submits with the P30 vote, and the label says vote. So one of the first things I want to do is show you how to just change the look of this slightly. So I'm going to do style equals, okay, got one already here, width equals 100, height equals 100, and let's do font dash size colon 1.2 EM. So make it slightly larger font. Okay, oops, that's after the quotes. Quotes at the end. So what this is doing is not something you should really do, but I just want to show you that it's a feature out there, that the attributes, where they get submitted. So let's run the page. All right, slightly bigger. And let's take a look at this. So what it did is it made, or it injected the style attributes into the tag. Really, this kind of thing, style, you would do in a CSS sheet, of course, but showing you it as a feature here. Alright, so let's change the, well, I'll show you how the capture is done. So let's look at the region. Okay, so it's a report region, and it pulls this report. So it does select no as a vote. So they all come in, all the vote fields come in as no initially. The ID, the blah, 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 blah. The rest of the columns from the enhancements table, and it orders it by the votes in descending order. So whichever one has the most votes is at the top. So that's simple, our standard type of report. We also have some pre-processing. The pre-processing pulls in this library from Google for doing the capture. It also has a public key here that I've set up. This is specific to my account with Google, and I'm going to change this once this demo is finished. A public key for using with the tool. It then calls a function in the library, passing in the public key, and renders or returns HTML, which I then store in a variable within my session. And then when the screen renders, and I render these variables out, this is actually going to render the HTML that's returned by this function. And that's how the control is rendered on the screen. Very simple. Now, we've also got post-processing. What happens when the page is submitted? Well, when I press the vote button, it pulls in the library again. It then uses my private key, again, which is going to change. It calls the capture function to find out what the answer is for what was entered in on the screen, whether it was a valid response or not. So it then gets this response. If it's not valid, it displays this item on the screen and stops the program. You can always press the back button and redo it again. However, if it was good, it continues down the program and it loops through the fields in the report. Now, these fields have been set up to be not just a standard display report field, but interactive control, an element, a checkbox in this case. In fact, it's going through column 1 first. It's actually column start at 0. So column 0 is the voting checkbox, and column 1 is the ID field for the actual enhancement. So every enhancement has an ID. So it loops through to the first one. If there is an ID, then if the checkbox was set to yes for that one, update the enhancements table, incrementing the number of votes for that value, and go to the next one and loop through. Then just display thank you for voting and quit the program again. Of course, you can keep pressing the back button and submitting more and more votes by filling in the capture thing. It's not foolproof. Okay, so let's go to the report and take a look at the fields. So there are two fields that are special, the ones that I loop through to determine if the thing has been said or not. If I look at the vote one, it has been set as a checkbox. That's all I had to do. And if I look at the ID one, it's set as a display and save. Well, display and save renders the HTML and it also saves it into a variable that I can look through later on. Okay, so what I want to do now is add a few more. Changing column 3, there is no column 3 defined down here, so it uses the default, and the default has sorting on it. By now setting up column 3 to be left justified, I'm not going to enter a label. It's going to now, and change it to display. These simple settings now are going to strip off the sorting feature on there. So update that. I won't do columns 4 and 5 yet. I'll leave those blank so we can see the difference. I'm going to close this and run the page. So now we can see that we can't sort on the titles. I'm going to remove sorting from description and votes. They're just going to be in descending order. I also want to move these values down to the bottom and get rid of the exporting feature. So let's edit the page again. Go into the report. I will actually uppercase that E because that was bugging me. Okay, submit that. And now let's edit the report again, and let's do column 4, same way, update, and column 5, update. Now run the page, and all the sorting should be removed. Yep, no sorting on them. Okay, so let's change the template now for the region, so it flows a bit better. So let's take a look. This uses the default template. Go back to the page. Oh, I didn't have to go back to the page, but anyway, go to the templates. This is the default one. So what I want to do is take that last row off where it gives you the exporting and the paging. And I also want to move the form after the report. I think that's enough for that. Submit. Oh, no, I don't want to submit that. Let's cancel that. I'm just going to copy. What I'm going to do what I'm going to do is create one called simple add. So now I've got a simple, doesn't have a type, it's going to be a region, and paste in that edited one that I just did. So form is after report, no last row, submit. Okay, so now I have a simple region here. Let's go into the report and change its template to use the simple template. Submit that and run. Okay, well there we go. A bit more polished. Now I do want to move this into the center of the page here, so let's take a look at this region. Move up, all regions. So the page body is the whole page, all regions is just all the regions within the page. So this table, all regions, I want to make central on the page. So let's edit the page, and let's edit the CSS. Yeah, that's the default CSS, so let's just move down to where tables are defined. Here's tables. So I'm just going to say table, all regions, margin, auto. Okay, that should put it in the center. Close that and run the page. Well, let's refresh because it's probably cached it. There we go. Make that region central from now on. Okay, so let's just place a vote. Make sure it's still all working as it was before. And TS4V vote. Uh-oh, did not enter it correctly. Go back. Votes toward on Guineo. Vote. Okay, that time I did vote, so go back and yep, numbers have increased. Okay, well, I hope you like that, showing you how to bring in third-party components and doing a little bit of spin and polish. There's plenty more to do on this page before it's ready for publishing, but I think we're done for now. Thank you.